Let's get even more reaction. Here's our director of scouting, Craig Button. Craig, great to see you. He's done what many thought was impossible, one of the most iconic individual records in professional sports, and Alex Ovechkin breaks it on Sunday with goal number 895. Craig, where, in your opinion, does this moment rank in NHL history?
It's number one. I think the hardest thing to do is score goals. So when you have the most goals scored ever in the NHL at 895, standing here after this great performance on Sunday to break the record, to me, that's the biggest moment. You do what's the hardest thing to do it, and you've done it better than anybody else has done it previously.
And, you know, lost in this achievement, perhaps, is the way he went out about breaking the record. Didn't want to score an empty netter, scores 5 straight right down the stretch with the season winding down, all the press, all the pressure on him. How remarkable is that in your mind, or is that just Ovi being Ovi, Craig?
You nailed it, Jay. It's Ovi being Ovi. You know, we were just chatting a little bit before we came on air. And one of the things we were talking about, and you brought it up, was the first half of the 23-24 season was not anywhere near vintage Ovi. In fact, there was a lot of questions. Is he really slowing down? Is this the signs that he's not going to be prolific? Well, in his last 36 games of the 23-24 season, he scored 23 goals. And he missed 16 this year. But when you start to look at the last 97 games he's played, 65 goals. I would suggest, any type of reports about his demise are greatly exaggerated, Jay. Because, and you're right, it is Ovi being Ovi. But Ovi loves to score. And I saw him for the very first time when he was 16 years of age. What you saw at that time was this great, powerful, skilled player that could score and do so many different things in the game to create those scoring opportunities and to finish them. And he loved doing it. You saw it at 16, you saw it at 25, you saw it today when he scored his 895th goal. It really is something to behold, and something that when you consider, everything that he's gone through in his career, 20 years since he started in the NHL, and here he is. And I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of runway left to score a lot more goals.
Okay, let's talk about that. How long do you think he said? I'm glad you brought that up, because he has another year left on his deal. You know, reporters have asked him about it. Would you sign a deal beyond next season? And he's been pretty steadfast in saying he would not want to do that. It seems like he wants to go back to Russia. Do you get the impression maybe, though, Craig, that, the excitement of today and just being able to add to that record and make it even more difficult for someone else to break might entice Ovi to play for 1, 2, 3 more seasons? Because he looks like as good as he's ever looked right now.
Yeah, I think with players, and certainly we see this at different moments in time, where you see greatness, and the thing that makes greatness so unique is that they have set the bar so high for themselves. And one of the things that great players never want to do in any sport, they never want to let it dip. Nick Lidstrom was a top player when he retired. It was the lockout of 2012, 2013, and getting prepared. And it's not just can he still do it in the NHL, it's what it's going to take in your preparation to do it at that level. And those players don't want to fall below the high bar they've set. So I would say let's just watch Alexander Ovechkin for the 25-26 season, see what he does in the last year of his contract. You know that him and the owner of the Washington Capitals, Ted Leonsis, have a special bond. And when you think about everything that he's done for the Washington Capitals, him and Crosby came in the league in 2005.
Yep.
They've been the faces of the league since 2005. They saved their respective franchises. And here they are 20 years later doing things that are still special. Crosby wants to keep playing. Maybe the fact that Crosby wants to keep playing keeps Alexander Ovechkin motivated. Because I will say this, if he wants to keep playing and he wants to play beyond this current contract, he wants to pursue 2-3 more seasons, he will have 1,000 goals when it's all said and done.
21 years to the day on Sunday, the Caps won the draft lottery and the right to draft Alexander Ovechkin. James Duthie posted a terrific picture of himself and Ovi in our Studio 6 right across the lot here. Craig, because we used to have the draft lottery here when we used to have the draft. It was exciting times back then, Craig. But yeah, great picture of both of them. And it's just amazing to see how young Ovi was. And like you said, has just dominated this league along with Sid in terms of marketability. And as you said, not only saving those franchises, but for a lot of people, saving the sport itself over this time. It seems like a perfect way to culminate and to crown what has been an incredible career for Ovechkin.
No question about it. I thought Wayne Gretzky, was so gracious, and he talked about how hockey passes from one person or generation to another. From the Rocket to Gordie Howe, and Gordie Howe was there when Wayne Gretzky broke that record. Wayne Gretzky is here, and to see Ovi break his record. And again, when I talk about greatness, it really is special. One other thing that I think is that I'd like to mention here is that Alexander Ovechkin would have 50 goals if he hadn't been injured this year, which would have been a record 10th season scoring 50 goals. And that would have broken a record that he holds with Gretzky and Mike Bossy. And and the coincidence, irony, in Long Island, Gretzky in the stands, and number 22 up in the rafters, who was a great goal scorer in his own right. And there's no telling what he would have been able to do if he hadn't had his career cut short because of injury. And I'm talking about the great Mike Bossy.
I couldn't agree more. And you give me a great idea, Craig, because if Ovi doesn't get to 50 this year, perfect. We've got something to keep him around for next year, right? You can go for that 10th season of 50 goals. So maybe I'm hoping he doesn't get to it this year. Craig Button, always great to chat with you. Thanks for this, my friend.